All right, here we come. My name is Samson Akinwale, and I am a seasoned HR management practitioner for more than 12 years now, and have undertaken a couple of different functions under HR. Then I am also a data analyst by training, and that's one of the uh, reasons why this discovery is coming up uh, in the first place. So I'll be going ahead straight away into the program and the entire thought process that led into this. So the discovery for people managers is primarily to help unlock the future of HR through data, through people, and practice coming afterwards. The objective of this section is to ensure that an awareness is raised about and explain the science of people management. So, increasing the level of awareness about the science of people management and explaining what that concept is actually all about. We will also ensure we enumerate practical insights on how data is transforming HR decision making. One of those objectives is equally to help demystify all assumed complexities people naturally associate with data and figure or number manipulations in general. We will also attempt to build participants' confidence in looking at data and whet their appetite ahead of subsequent practical sections. We will ensure we introduce Project 1 million and how to be a participant on the project and every other benefit that is attached. So the agenda number one is an opening thought into the discovery concept itself, then the concept of the discovery for people managers and the science of people management itself. Then we introduce, like I earlier mentioned, the project called Project 1 Million. A closing thought will follow, then a call to action. So, how did it all start? How did it all begin? And what is the rationale behind this discovery and the science of people management in the first place? So, initially, when the whole of the thoughts was coming to my mind and I was trying to explore the intersection between people, or we call HR practice and data, I wasn't simply chasing a trend, I was searching for a bridge. And in doing that, it was very clear that and in doing that, it was very clear that there was something hidden somewhere behind what HR practice and people management has been doing hitherto. So I knew that I was not just chasing the normal trend that people would chase. I was seeing that there was a bridge that is expected to be built between uh, people and this new concept of data as we have it. So the bridge is to be between the human heart of work and the analytical mind of progress. And in doing that, it is a bit quite strategic for people to ensure that the missing point or the missing link between what we call people management in general and the new tool called data has got to offer or has got to bring to the table. So while doing that, while ensuring all of the process is falling in place, uh, I thought of the fact that what if the future of this human resource management practice could require something more than what we have been used to? The set of elements that constitute how we go about the day-to-day activities of that profession, which could be summarized in the good use of policies and intuition in handling different situations. What if we could have something more than that, especially as we journey into the new world of work, which is revolutionizing a lot of things in the whole world? What if HR could see itself not just as a support function, not just as a business partnering function, but a discipline that is equally as rooted in science as a couple of other social sciences. So these form the basis of the discovery that I have been talking about, that there is something more to HR practice than HR practitioners have known. So there was need to bring that to the knowledge of the people in charge of the discipline so that they could take better advantage of the profession, and also at the end of the day give their best to improving the bottom line and the growth or the transformation every organization requires. So in this same light, it was imperative to consider HR standing on two strong legs: the one we have known it for over time, and this new one that is equally standing on but has not been recognized for it, and that is science. Many a times when you talk about science, when you talk about things a bit abstract into scientific stuff, people who probably do not have that background think it is something extraordinarily complex or difficult. And that's exactly one of the things we aim to achieve in this section, to demystify all of those processes and ensure people understand the fact that when you put your heart to get something done, you will get it done. People who are in sciences are not born differently like every other person that are in other endeavors in human activities in general. So at this point, I didn't just realize that managing people is both art and science. I knew and discovered that without the science part of human resource management, I knew it would be pretty hard for the art part to do a very good job. The summary of what the art part may likely be doing will not be different from just a guesswork. And I'm a living witness because I've been in the profession for more than a decade, and I can understand the fact that when you do not have data at your disposal and you need to take decision about some staff-related issues, which borders on some very sensitive matters that concerns them, you just have to get something done. Sometimes some people do not even have some policies in place to address a particular situation. So that calls for bringing up of new policy every now and then, depending on what new situation has arisen, which has never been witnessed before by that particular organization or association. So I knew that HR should stand on the same intellectual ground as other disciplines like engineering or finance. And it should be built on evidence, experimentation, and insight. That is just jargons. It is nothing serious or not a big deal as it is. What it means is that it should follow scientific process, and the process of science or scientific process in general is just summarized in three things. Science does not assume anything. Science does not do a guesswork. Science goes ahead to do what we call conducting tests. So there is test. While you are conducting that test, You patiently try to observe different outcomes the test is giving you, because within the test there are different things reacting together which we call reactants, and they are to give you an outcome which should give you some insight into what to do. So after conducting tests, science is expected to look into the test being conducted and see what is going on in there, and that process is called observation. So we have test, we have observation, and after observation you draw conclusion, which is also called inference. Those are the three basic steps that summarize what science does. And if anything does not align with any of those three steps, science does not throw its weight behind it. And this is where the science of people management is coming in now, because we will begin to apply these critical scientific steps into what HR does. But how do we do that? We'll get to know in a moment. So the science of people management, how does it go about, or where does it come from, or how do we apprehend it? It begins with what we call people analytics. And that takes me a step further, explaining what people analytics is. It is simply what we call data analytics. So the word people here is just to say that data relating to people being analyzed as against general or generic data that an average data analyst works on. So in this situation, it is data directly relating to people. And you and I know that in the three things that constitutes transformational growth in an organization, be it people, be it process or tools, people is the most critical of all of those three things. And that is why analyzing what people do or what a person does and getting to bring out an insightful information from it helps a great deal in transforming further processes that comes afterwards. So I equally discovered or realized that there is no department in almost all organizations. I may be wrong, or somebody should prove me wrong. There is no, I have not seen any other department in in any organization that has access to sensitive data as much as HR. So HR by default, what it means is that HR by default sits on tons of data deposits, just like Nigeria, for instance, as a nation, sit on huge deposit of oil. You know the irony, just like Nigeria finds it pretty difficult for decades to gain mastery on transforming the deposit of oil she has been blessed with, which she has sat under for several decades, just like Nigeria find it pretty difficult or incapacitated in one way or the other to transform or refine that oil deposit. I realized also, I discovered also that most HR who by default sit on deposit of people data do not naturally have data skills to apprehend or appropriate or analyze or transform the data that stare them in their faces all day long. So at worst, or when a push comes to shove, maybe they will have to contract that particular task to somebody who has that skill or expertise. And they have regarded that aspect to be something entirely out of HR jurisdiction, and people who have power over data should deal with it. I agree. My intention about this discovery is not to turn HR people to data analysts. No, the primary thing I'm trying to drive to the consciousness of every HR person is that there are few steps you can take on data without necessarily running after data analysts. And you would have extracted meaningful insight yourself from those data without running elter skelter, and it does not cost you anything. So, and what is more, to know those things They are not rocket science. They are as simple as ABC, provided you apply your heart or your mind to it. And this goes ahead to show to me that HR naturally are not favorably disposed to data. And most of the time, they need to be encouraged, or they need concerted encouragement and engagement in that regard to give it a trial. So this is actually the brain behind the Discovery for People Managers initiative, and it is a deliberate effort to equip all these people, or all the people found in this category, anywhere they are, regardless of their background, and to take them by the hand one step at a time, proving to them, showing them, boosting their confidence that data is as good as the normal write-ups you have in letters. Is just to give it a different mind shift altogether and see how the whole things get done. And what is more, all the tools you need to deal with those data, to crunch them and to extract insight from there, all those tools are already available. It's just to apply your mind to knowing how to walk yourself or navigate around those tools and master them one step at a time. You may not even disturb yourself to know more than one tool. For instance, the simplest one, no, not the simplest one, let me say the most common tool for data analysis, which is close to as many people as possible, regardless of their background, is Microsoft Excel. So we could deal with that within showing different aspects of it, and it will amaze you how simple all of these things is. So what have I been doing all this while? I've been raising this awareness personally on my page and in my on my social media, trying to bring up as many thought leadership concepts and topics as possible consecutively and consistently for more than 7 months. And at the point in time, the engagement I've seen so far, the level of impression those posts have made, the number of additional followership I've gained on those social media gave me an inclination that I can do more or go a level higher than that and consolidate all of those processes into their practical equivalent, such that people can now go from theory to practical and begin to put those steps in practice. And it will not make them spend anything as such, because it's to be offered for free to them, which talent backspec under which the whole of this initiative is being run is committed to. So, how many things have we done so far? How many insight have we given? I'm beginning to lose count, but I'm sure it's well over 25 or running to 30. But this is just a few of it. I have taken time to discuss the fact that you cannot see any nation rise beyond the level of data appropriation they have gotten. Building nations comes with gaining mastery over numbers. It is right there on my LinkedIn page. I also wrote about moving from spreadsheet to strategy, wrote about HR holding the center stage regarding raising awareness on cyber HR, because there is cyber insecurity more often than not, and is even getting more preponderant in recent time than it has ever happened before. Most of the time, the most important cause or the root cause of cyber insecurity has been traced down back to people, not necessarily any other gadget and other. And it is people who are employed in organizations that are responsible for it. HR is in charge of people. If HR does not have digital understanding, it won't be able to ensure people have basic understanding of how to manage their different logins and passwords to prevent phishing, prevent cyber attacks, which in the long run affect the organization itself. I also advise, like I mentioned earlier, that HR people should go to Dangote to learn some lessons. Those are part of the things I've mentioned earlier, because Dangote showed an example, I mean a global example of helping a whole nation to gain capacity to refine what it has without necessarily sending it abroad, which is costlier. What that means is that just as it was costlier for Nigeria to send its oil out of its shores for externals to help her refine it, it is also costly and can also be risky for HR practitioner to send out their sensitive data for every dictum and RE in the name of data analysts to help deal with their data and send back to them. Whereas they could just take advantage of basic skills to deal and crunch those data themselves. What I mean, I also spoke about thou art inexcusable all HR boardroom language, which is the strategy language, which is supposed to be the new language for HR, science of people management, data is blood, from reporting to predicting. I also spoke about the wealth of nation coming from the background of Adam Smith and all that. Okay, how can we juxtapose HR and data, and what are the different insights we have deduced from it, just to settle our understanding and make us be rest assured that HR has nowhere she's running to away from data, because the future of the relevance of HR in the scheme of things is in the hand of data. So the earlier it recognizes this and associates better with data, the better. So the first one is this. I call it words on marble. What exactly is it driving to us? In this age and time, HR has no excuse any longer for data illiteracy. And that is one of those critical assignments Talent Basket is committed to undertaking under discovery for people managers. Data illiteracy is to be made a thing of the past, because we will be holding continuous series handling different aspects of data skills, familiarization with Excel, ABC of using Excel, creating dashboard, even if it means trying to invite some very wonderful experts in data field to do one or two things for for additional coloration. We will not hesitate to do that, because that is what we are convinced is the future of the prosperity that lies ahead of HR. What other words? HR practice is both an art and a science, as earlier mentioned. And the science of people management begins with what we call people analytics. What is more, the power to manage people effectively begins with the ability to decode the data they generate. What does that imply? I claim I am an HR person. I am managing a set of staff, and I'm to take some critical decisions about them at every point in time. The best way I could do an unbiased judgment or take an unbiased decision about them is to go by all the data they've been generating, ranging from what is their attendance data about. I cannot assume that, okay, this person does not come early, this person does not come all the time. Where is the data? What about their sickness absence? What about their performance appraisal? All of these generate different data every now and then, such that when you are to take action or you are to take any decision about any person, that's the data you pull out, do a little analysis on it, and draw the different insight it has brought, show to the person involved. He or she has no reason to doubt or will be second guessing whether you are biased or whether you are sentimental or not, because data is right there and he or she knows, cannot be denied. So data turns a typical HR from a people function into a performance engine. What do I mean? So an average HR that has embraced data skills in what he or she does, he or she becomes, I mean, the performance level of that person goes out of the roof, because what the person is dealing with are things that cannot be that cannot be disputed anywhere in the whole world, and there is no limit to such performance. So the foreseeable future of HR we can see as a result cannot be separated from data. So the bridge between people and progress is built on data insights. Every data informed HR becomes a multiplier of transformation. Who wants to be an HR and does not want to have a transformational impact or a transformational influence in the place he or she works or in the organization the person has found himself or herself? I'm not sure there is one. To get to such level, to find yourself at that threshold, it is not by chance and it's not going to happen overnight. It is by following and taking advantage of this process of using data effectively to make a case, to make a business case, to prove a point that cannot be disputed. So, and when people follow this line of thought such that they discover data, what it turns out to be, or the effect it brings up at the other side, is that anywhere such person or those people find themselves, that particular place also experiences or discovers what we call transformational growth. So when people managers discover data, organizations they find themselves in, those organizations also discover growth. Now, what is the cost of sitting in the boardroom or being at the strategy table? The cost is simple data intelligence, because in the boardroom, the language of the boardroom is data. What the strategists talk about at the board level, they deal with what data is saying, because they will never take their own decision or bring out a policy when it cannot be backed by data. So the future of HR, therefore, is about seeing through, it's about seeing people, the people you are managing. It is about seeing them through this important lens called the lens of data. You cannot use any other lens to view those people. You probably miss some details about them. So the only thing that can give you clarity and beautiful view, either um, side view or whatever type of view you want to have, or an area view or whatever. The only thing that can give you a clear cut in such a view is nothing else but the lens of data. So every people decision deserves all clarity that data brings. So what that implies is that data brings clarity. And when you are taking decision about people, you need that kind of clarity from data to take that decision, or else you will be taking a decision amiss, or you'll be taking decision wrongly. There is a huge amount of clarity data brings to your table or to your conscious mind that helps you to easily take a step or make a decision. So any HR that you see that has data insight, such HR doesn't just respond to change. More often than not, they are at the forefront of change and they lead it. The best HR leaders, they don't go into guesswork because of intuition or experience. No, they look for relevant data, deal with the data, and get insight from the data, then move ahead from there. Data reveals what experience alone cannot explain. Therefore, in this digital age, we know that digital age already requires digital HR practice. So we must drop our analog HR mentality. So, um, What are the kind of things we'll be doing in the series after now or in subsequent series? This is an example of a project we'll be working on. This one says HR analytics dashboard. There are a lot of insights this dashboard is already bringing. When you bring this up to an average person or an average HR person, it can look a bit cumbersome or complex. How do I arrive at this? Where do I get this from? It is not anything serious. I must bet that with you. It is as simple as as putting your pen to paper and scribbling some things from your intuitive mind. So, how do I mean? All these can be broken down into different items that make them up. There is first a layout which can be drawn. You can use any tool to draw to draw layout, but I've also seen a best practice in dealing with layout. The layout is just what is giving you these different department and lines, horizontal and vertical lines, giving us different sections. That's just the layout, showing us where the header is, where the next line of items will be, then the middle and probably those close to the footer and all that. It's just a simple layout. Layouts can be anything. You can choose to design your layout anything. So most of the time, we start dealing with layout by just taking biro and drawing it on your paper. Draw out how many columns you want it to be. Okay, what are the things you want to bring out from this data you want to work on? Those are very basic things. We will start from those very minor thing and graduate one step at a time till we are able to pull data into this dashboard and just deal with it. And what we use is not any complex tool, it's the Excel you have always seen. That Excel is more powerful than what you think you are having in your Microsoft Office tool or suite. This is another example of a dashboard I worked on. It is nothing serious, like I said earlier. We will break this down and it will amaze every lay HR person that, oh, is this how easy to deal with this? I mean, to deal with things like this. You see all of those dashboards online from people and we're like, wow, can I ever be able to do something like this or whatever? It is what everybody can do. It's just to apply your mind to what is the process, then follow the process and build competence on it every now and then. That's another example of that. So the next thing from the agenda is Project 1 million. All of these processes will be taken under discovery for people managers. We need to be able to quantify it. We need to be able to see how much impact it's making. We need to be able to use it to encourage as many people as possible. So discovery for people manager is going to precipitate into Project 1 million. And what Project 1 million simply refers to is the fact that discovery for people manager is for as many people managers as possible, and it can range from 1 to 1 million of them. So we want to measure our progress. We want to measure how the 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 sensitization, the awareness is going, and what lessons people are learning from me. And that's why we are creating this Project 1 million as a vision to run towards, such that everybody coming on board for discovery for people managers, they know they are part of a very, very lofty vision, and they can see what progress we are making and how each of them is supporting the structural framework of that project right from foundation up to the roof of the building itself. So Project 1 million is a global movement designed to sensitize and empower 1 million HR practitioners on the inseparable link that we have established that exists between people management and data intelligence. It aims to equip HR professionals to confidently embrace the future of work by positioning themselves at the intersection of HR and data, unlocking the power of data-driven decision making in people management. It will adopt training the trainer approach because 1 million is actually a huge number. So it's going to adopt training the trainer approach such that when we train some set of people, we get them equipped with basic tools for that training, and they can replicate that training in their own network and hence some recognition which they can use for critical things in their career or in the process of growth in their career or any other thing they might not even be thinking of now that will require such recognition. So we've already broken down how to move within 3 to 5 years. There is a master plan for Project 1 Million, which we will unveil in subsequent session when we begin the practical details of uh, gaining mastery over data. So Project 1 Million is also to build a generation of people managers who can confidently lead in this age of data, technology, and transformation while keeping people at the heart of decision making. What are the benefits and what are the rewards that are there? So we have monthly online webinars and live sections training the trainer model to multiply the reach and impact fast so that the 3 to 5 years benchmark can be the target can be reached within that time frame. Rewards and recognitions for champions who sensitize the most practitioners, certificate of attendance, certificate of completion, then impact award, which will be broken down into different category: bronze, gold, platinum, and what have you. So finally, what is my closing thoughts? My closing thoughts is that um, HR decisions are no longer an object of feeling. It cannot be felt. They are understood. And it is only data that can help you drive that understanding home. It can never be a guesswork. There is still a whole lot more that lies on the laps and on the shoulder of people managers. And the best way they could get it done and convince every other professional in their different discipline and also contribute meaningfully well to organizational growth because people is the most critical element in every organization. They have got to embrace the use of data, and they are not going to look for that data anywhere. The data is already there. They are sitting on it on daily basis, but they are not extracting the insight that data has got in itself, and it is simply because they are incapacitated, not willingly, to dealing with those data to extract those insight out of it. So, onto everybody, your discovery begins from here. What is call to action? You join the discovery series, which a lot of you have already joined. Then register for Project 1 Million. How do you register for Project 1 Million? Um, Let me drop a link. Quickly go to this link. Where is the chat box now? I'll drop the link in the chat box on this call. Then you can go to the link, click that link in the chat box, and you can register for Project 1 Million there. What is the next one? Register for Project 1 Million and follow Talent Basket on LinkedIn. Then the link for LinkedIn for Talent Basket is this. You can pick it up also in the chat box. Then finally, be on the lookout for every other instruction and information that will be coming our way. Thank you all for joining the next section. See you in the next one. So, would like to ask, is there any question? In the absence of no question, then we can call it a wrap for now. Thank you. Thank you for joining.